Going to talk about what you can finally do to finally lose lower belly fat. Without any further ado, now this is always a point of contention for a lot of people who are dieting. They simply just don't see belly fat, especially lower belly fat, going away. Well, the number one thing that you can do to finally lose lower belly fat is incredibly simple. The thing is, what happens when you are dieting and you stop dieting and you diet again and you stop dieting, it ends up creating this illusion that there isn't progress. And the only reason that there's an illusion of no progress when you're dieting, you stop dieting and you stop, which is why you should always be measuring your body, measuring the amount of body fat you have, using fat calipers, taking pictures, trying on different clothes with different sizes to see how they fit you, is because you're changing slowly. You're changing below the just noticeable difference because you're looking at yourself literally every day. Something that someone else might notice in 3 weeks, you won't even see the difference because you are looking at yourself every day. The truth is, because there are certain fats that, or certain fat cells that are much more difficult to burn than others, or much more difficult to tap into to pull those fatty acids out than others, is going to cause situations where other parts of your body fill up last but remove first. And how do I explain that in a way that makes sense? Now, this is not the case for everyone, but this can be the case for you. Everyone is different, and the body fat location, spot reduction is different. Where things get reduced is different for everyone based on their biology. But normally the case is that you have more what is called beta cells in your stomach region than you do, for example, in your face. You'll have more alpha fat cells. Now, there's a mixture of both, but it depends on how many of those are alphas versus betas that will determine how primed and ready they are to release those fatty acids. Now, in your face, for example, it's more than likely that you have more alpha fat cells than you have beta fat cells. Now, alpha fat cells are easier to pull from. They're less stubborn than beta fat cells. So what ends up happening is you might feel when you're gaining weight, you may gain weight in your stomach and then in your face, but you gain weight more quickly in your stomach because of the amount of beta fat cells. But then when you're losing weight, the reverse will happen. When you start losing weight, you start losing weight in your face, and then your stomach starts being tapped into. So what ends up happening is a lot of people never get to that period where they get over that hump. Now, you're always going to be losing some weight in your stomach as well. It's not going to just be no weight at all, but it isn't going to be as rapid as maybe your arms or maybe your face. So the illusion is primed and set for you to believe that you just cannot lose lower belly fat. But the issue is that lower belly fat is literally the last bottom, like half of the body holding on to that last inch of body fat that you can actually squeeze, right? So even if you see somebody with abs, for example, they might have like a little bit of lower belly fat, and the reason is because it's just literally that much tougher for most people to lose that lower belly fat. What you would have to do, since you're going to be in this limbo state, because if you think about it, if you're gaining weight quicker in your stomach, then you gain some in your face, you're losing weight, and now you're losing it from your face first and from your arms first, or from your face more aggressively and from your arms more aggressively. If you always get to the point where you're gaining weight and then you're losing weight just a little bit, but then you get back to gaining weight and losing weight, so you're going back and forth with breaking your diet, getting back on your diet, what's going to end up happening is you're simply just never going to see that lower belly fat go, because you're not going to ever fully tap into it. Thus, you feel that you can't lose lower belly fat because you want that to go every single time you're getting back into your diet. So what you have to do, and this is the Only thing you can do, especially since you cannot actually spot reduce anyways, you can't choose to select any subcutaneous fat to burn. You simply just have to diet or have to do your regimen for an extended period of time until you finally get there. Now, that is not easy to do for a lot of people. A lot of people cannot stick to their diets. We actually don't really, as I've always said, in the United States, we don't really have a weight loss problem because people lose weight all the time, no matter how big they are. We have a weight regain problem. People lose weight, but then they don't stick to the weight loss program that they're in, and they regain it. Something happens over here, something happens over there, and they break the chain of what they were doing. It breaks the rhythm and the flow of what they were doing. So you basically just have to be super disciplined, and if you keep going, then you'll eventually start to see your belly fat being reduced, and if you keep going, you'll eventually start to see the lower belly fat being reduced, because no matter how stubborn the beta fat cells are, when you've reduced so much around the rest of your body has very little choice but to pull from the lower belly fat. But that takes being in your diet for an extended period of time, being super disciplined with not stopping it, which is why I always say, whenever you choose a diet or regimen, make sure you're choosing something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, because that way, even if you don't necessarily do it for the rest of your life, if things happen or whatever, you switch diets, bare minimum, it allows you to do it for an extended period of time, which would be required for you to tap into those stubborn belly areas. Hopefully this video was insightful for you. Don't think that you just can't lose belly fat. Everyone has this issue. Everyone has to go through this when you gain weight. Belly fat, especially lower belly fat, is just much harder because of the way that most of our bodies are set up with our adipocytes, which is the fat cells. Some are alpha, some are beta, but the stomach region just has way more beta than everything else, or it tends to have more beta for each individual person than everything else. Until next time, this is Fledge Fitness. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys.